I was just 24, living in my first real apartment. Young, broke, and just trying to make it through life. But every time I tried to relax, watch a movie, or play music, this old lady next door would call the cops on me. Over and over again. But one night, after the 12th bogus police visit, I asked a simple question that made the officers pause. And what happened next? Let's just say, she never called them again. 21 years ago, I was 24, fresh out of school, barely scraping by, and living in a crummy little apartment building that felt like it was built out of wet cardboard. 18 units stacked together like a house of cards. And if someone sneezed 3 apartments down, you could practically say, "Bless you," and hear them thank you. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. After long shifts at a job I hated, I'd come home, flop down, and just exist. Maybe play a little music, watch a movie. Nothing crazy, never blasting anything. But apparently, even that was too much for my next-door neighbor. She was this sharp-eyed old lady with this constant sour expression, like someone had swapped her morning coffee for vinegar. Her husband was quieter, always trailing behind her like a ghost in his own house. But she was loud in a very specific way. The kind of loud that doesn't scream, but calls the police. The first time the cops knocked on my door, I was genuinely confused. "Sir, we received a noise complaint." I blinked. "I'm watching Jurassic Park on volume 12. They stepped inside, paused, looked at the screen, listened, then said, "Yeah, you're fine. But maybe keep it down a little, just to be safe." I nodded. They left. I figured it was a one-off. But then it happened again. A week later. And again the week after that. Same officers, same complaint, same routine. I started to recognize them. We'd make awkward small talk while they responded to another fake call. They'd step inside, verify that my speakers weren't shaking the walls, and give me that same weary shrug. Not really a disturbance, but, try to keep it down. I was being polite, respectful, cooperative. But inside, I was boiling. There's something uniquely infuriating about being accused of something you didn't do, especially when the accusation comes from someone who acts like they're morally superior. This woman wasn't just being petty. She was trying to control me. She was weaponizing authority to create fear. It got to the point where I flinched every time I heard footsteps in the hallway. I double-checked the volume on my TV before hitting play. I was living in fear of my own entertainment system. Every knock on the door made my heart race. I'd started timing how long I could watch a movie before she called again. It wasn't just annoying, it was psychological warfare. She wanted me silent, invisible, obedient, and it was working. Until it didn't. One night, around the 12th visit, the officers knocked. I opened the door and didn't even fake a smile. One officer said, "Noise complaint again." I didn't let him in this time. "Is she serious?" They both looked uncomfortable. One said, "Your volume's fine. We just have to respond when she calls." And that's when I asked a question, not with anger, but with something else behind my voice. Can someone get fined for abusing emergency services like this? I mean, what's the law say about wasting police time with false reports? There was silence. Not the awkward kind, the thinking kind. The officer rubbed the back of his neck. I mean, yeah, technically, if someone makes repeated false reports, there can be consequences. And I saw it. The flicker. The recognition that something wasn't right here. They left, and I never saw them again. Weeks passed. Silence. For the first time in months, I could watch a movie without glancing over my shoulder, play music without tiptoeing through my playlist. I was starting to breathe again. Then one day, I ran into the janitor while taking out the trash. He was a good guy, always a bit gossipy, always knew everyone's business. He leaned in and said with a grin, "Hey, you know that old lady next door?" I nodded. "Don't remind me." He chuckled. "She told me she got hit with a huge fine. Turns out the police weren't too happy about her wasting their time." I froze. Then I smiled. A big, wide, cathartic grin I hadn't felt in a long time. She didn't get yelled at, she didn't get arrested, but she got exactly what she deserved. No more calls, no more threats, just silence. The kind she apparently hated so much. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it was justice. She wanted me afraid, she wanted me compliant, but in the end, she got fined for lying. The cops never returned. I played my music guilt-free, and the old witch next door, she vanished into the background, exactly where she belonged. There's something beautiful about revenge that doesn't scream, something powerful about a win that doesn't require confrontation. All it took was a question, a truth, and a system that finally said, enough. Sometimes the best revenge isn't fire and fury. It's calm. It's calculated. It's letting karma punch someone in the face with a smile on your face. Because when people lie, when they abuse power, when they think they can control others with fear, they always forget one thing. Eventually, someone calls them out. If this story hit home for you, hit that like button and tell us in the comments. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or dreamed of? And hey, subscribe for more true stories where karma comes knocking loud and clear. Because around here, justice always finds a way.